It was a Sunday afternoon in May 2013. Inside a cramped exhibition hall at the Body Power Expo in Birmingham, England, a 19-year-old kid stood behind a tiny booth surrounded by boxes of gym clothing. His name was Ben Francis. He had driven there with his best friend Lewis Morgan. They had printed t-shirts, fitted shorts, and stringer vests, all bearing a logo that almost nobody in the fitness world had ever seen. The brand was called Gymshark. The first few hours were dead silent. People walked past without a second glance. Ben watched thousands of attendees flock toward the massive stands of established supplement companies and sportswear giants. He had sunk nearly every penny he owned into this business. He had spent countless nights after his pizza delivery shifts, sewing garments and screen printing logos in his parents' garage. Standing in the shadow of brands with million-pound budgets, he wondered if any of it had been worth it. Then something nobody predicted happened. A fitness YouTuber named Lex Griffin walked past the booth, stopped, picked up a stringer vest, and tried it on. He liked it. He told his friends. Within minutes, a small crowd formed. Then another influencer arrived, and another. By the afternoon, the queue at the Gymshark booth stretched further than some of the biggest brands at the entire expo. By the end of the day, every single item was sold out. But the real shockwave came after the expo. When Ben launched a flash sale on his website, the traffic was so enormous that the entire site crashed. In one weekend, a teenager who delivered pizzas for a living had accidentally created a phenomenon. Ben Francis was born on June 10, 1992, in the West Midlands of England. Nothing about his childhood hinted at what was coming. He was not a prodigy or a natural-born entrepreneur. But while his friends spent evenings playing video games, Ben was teaching himself to code. He learned HTML, CSS, and web development. By 16, he had built a few small websites. None made real money, but each taught him how the internet connected people. When Ben turned 17, he discovered the gym. It started casually, but something about the discipline and visible results of consistent effort resonated deeply. He began training seriously and following fitness YouTubers, and that is when he noticed a gap. Most gym wear was either bland, overpriced, or made for professional bodybuilders. There was no brand speaking to the generation of fitness enthusiasts growing up on social media. In 2012, Ben enrolled at Aston University in Birmingham to study business and IT. But his mind was already somewhere else entirely. His first attempt was a supplement price comparison website that earned him a little money through affiliate commissions. But it was not enough. He wanted to create something tangible, something people could wear and feel connected to. So with almost no money and absolutely zero experience in fashion or textiles, he bought a sewing machine and a basic screen printing setup and started making gym clothes by hand in his parents' garage. The process was painfully slow, incredibly messy, and filled with mistakes. Early products were rough. The printing was uneven. The stitching was far from perfect. But he kept going. He worked on Gymshark every single evening after delivering pizzas for Pizza Hut. Picture this: a 19-year-old university student, earning minimum wage, coming home at midnight, then spending hours alone in a cold garage sewing gym clothes that he was not even sure anyone would ever buy. No glamour, no venture capital, no mentor showing him the way. Just a young man with a sewing machine, a cheap laptop, and a stubborn refusal to give up. Instead of spending his limited money on traditional advertising, Ben made what seemed like a reckless bet. He sent free Gymshark products to fitness YouTubers and Instagram creators. In 2012, influencer marketing was not even a recognized term. But Ben saw that these creators had genuine, trusting relationships with their audiences. When Lex Griffin started wearing Gymshark in videos, his followers noticed and bought. Then Nikki Blackketter, David Lade, Matt Ogus. One by one, fitness creators began wearing Gymshark. Each new influencer brought a wave of customers. The strategy worked because of authenticity. Gymshark was not a corporate brand buying credibility. It was a small operation run by a teenager who genuinely loved fitness, but growth nearly destroyed him. Orders flooded in with no infrastructure to handle them. Ben and his tiny team packed orders by hand, working 18-hour days, still falling behind. Complaints piled up on social media. Manufacturing at scale brought defects and inconsistent sizing. Ben was attending lectures by day, delivering pizzas in the evening, and running Gymshark through the night, sleeping 3 or 4 hours. Then he made the decision that defined his career. He dropped out of Aston University. He quit Pizza Hut. He put everything into Gymshark. If it failed, he would have no degree, no job, and no plan. He did not fail. He acknowledged his limitations and hired experienced operations managers, partnered with professional manufacturers, and invested in proper warehousing. Every penny went back into the business. He built a curated team of Gymshark athletes who became powerful brand ambassadors. He organized pop-up events in major cities where thousands queued overnight, not just to buy clothes, but to feel part of a community. In 2015 came the darkest chapter. Gymshark planned its biggest Black Friday sale ever. The website crashed and stayed down for hours. Social media exploded with anger. Ben called it one of the worst days of his life, but he did not hide. He posted a public video apologizing, explained exactly what went wrong, took full responsibility, and promised it would never happen again. He then overhauled the entire digital infrastructure at enormous cost. The disaster forced Gymshark to grow up. By 2018, Gymshark crossed the £100 million revenue mark. A company born in a garage was outpacing brands that had existed for decades, shipping to over 130 countries, with millions of social media followers, and a 26-year-old college dropout at the helm. In 2020, General Atlantic acquired a 30% stake, valuing Gymshark at over £1 billion. Ben briefly stepped back as CEO, appointing an experienced executive, then returned in 2022 with a deeper understanding of leadership. The story behind the headlines is not a fairy tale. It is hundreds of nights spent alone in a cold garage, sewing until your fingers ache, wondering if anyone will ever care. It is the anxiety of quitting university, of walking away from the safety net that education provides, with absolutely no guarantee that anything would replace it. It is the loneliness of being a young entrepreneur with no peers who understand what you are going through. It is the guilt of Black Friday, the sleepless nights wondering if the trust you shattered could ever be repaired. It is the weight of managing hundreds of employees when you're barely old enough to rent a car. Ben Francis never took shortcuts. He never burned through venture capital or used misleading tactics. He built a genuine product, sold it to genuine customers, and reinvested genuine profits. He had no trust fund, no MBA, no powerful connections. He had a sewing machine, a laptop, and a dream most people thought was foolish. He turned it into a company worth more than £1 billion. The next time someone tells you that you need money to make money, remember the pizza delivery boy from Birmingham who built an empire from a garage. Because the world does not care where you start. It only cares what you build.